Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at another stream, another live. You know where you're at. You're at Spartan SU Network. I am your host, the Spartan. How is everybody doing tonight? Tonight, we have a battle that needs to be spoken about. Knight Rider and Smokey the Bandit. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know anything about Smokey the Bandit. So I'm going to rely on the president to bring his knowledge on this one. But before we get in, let's get these guys in here. Let's get the most goofiest numbnuts I know on this goddamn planet. My boy.
New subscriber.
Oops, wrong button. That's twice today. So my boy, the UK numbnuts.
How you doing, brother?
Not mad, man. You're gonna hate me in a minute, so let's get this next guy in. You get ready for this, my boy. You're gonna love it.
No, you can't bring him out. No, fucking hell. I hope you all heard that.
I heard that twice, actually. It never gets old. It's actually amusing, in my opinion. Go ahead, Paul. What's going on, my man? How are you?
I put in my title.
You're muted, Paul.
I'm pretty tired because it's obviously training day. So this is the fog that comes later in the day. That, and I'm just bracing for these snowstorms. Got a winter storm coming in tonight into tomorrow. So I'm just bracing for that. I got the snow thrower ready in the garage, and just bracing for the big storms, one of the biggest ones I've seen, because I know some guys that I do the show with on Wednesday in Houston. Those guys already snowed in. A lot of flights. It says something like 15,000 flights have been canceled in the U.S. because of the storm that's looking to impact like 70 million people. So yeah, this is one of the bigger ones. The size of the storm is like 2,000 miles. So I mean, it's
God
pretty
damn.
big.
Oh,
Yeah, from Texas. I mean, think about from Texas to East Coast. So it's pretty big.
Yeah, it sounds like a big storm. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if we don't get nothing. I think that would be hilarious.
Wouldn't hurt me.
Yeah. But question really fast, guys. Have you guys keep up with the news lately? Not the political news, movie news.
the what?
Well, I know Kathleen Kennedy stepped down at Lucasfilm. I know that's a big one.
No, actually, I was talking about the new two new trailers that got dropped this week. I posted it on the Spontaneous Q Network Facebook fan page. The one I posted, I didn't get a chance to post the other one yet, is new live action of He-Man. It actually looks
Yeah.
worthy.
So
Yes,
yeah,
I
Looks
saw
pretty
that.
fucking good. I'm sorry, Greg.
I saw that. Yeah, that looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard something that they were bringing it back. That actually looked pretty sick.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to it, to be honest with you. So man, I keep forgetting his name. He played in Aquaman. Shit, what's his fucking name?
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he's playing as Luffy or something like that. It's like the of the Superman universe, and that looks. They only show clips so far. I expect that trailer will be dropped any day now, probably sometime this week coming up. But so that looks pretty good too. So let's see what we'll get. I have a high expectation on He-Man. I don't know. What do you think, Paul? Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I look at the actor that's playing him, and he's definitely very much a slimmed down version. Certainly not the muscular build that certainly that defined the '80s and whatnot with muscular guys. And they're doing a twist where obviously they're going to be bringing it into, I guess, modern day. So we'll just have to see. I mean, it's like it seems like they may be trying to do too much, but we'll see. We'll see if they can pull it off. But lately with a lot of these films, I try to temper my enthusiasm when it comes to especially the trailers, because sometimes the trailers are better than the film. So I'll just wait it out and see.
Let's see, because it could be also even better than we expect. So let's see what comes up. All right, let's get into this show, guys. What do you guys think? Hey, Eric, what's going on? So, me and Greg made it very obvious in the past of our last show with the Knight Rider. We both are Knight Rider fans, but I'll be honest with you, Paul, I have no idea with Smokey the Bandit, so I'm gonna let you ride that part. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, they're two totally different entities. Smokey and the Bandit, I think, came at a time in the 70s, from the mid-70s on, where you had a series of shows that focused in on, I guess, what you would call the anti-hero. Guys who were somewhat rebellious. And it's interesting because I know in your slide, I don't know if you had a chance to fix it up to the show.
I changed it.
But the original slide that you had on there, it had basically the General Lee car from the Dukes of Hazzard. But it kind of fits because, again, in the 70s, you had a lot of these anti-hero movies and TV series that centered around a guy who was basically kind of, giving a middle finger to the law. Now, the law oftentimes was incompetent. The law oftentimes was corrupt. And anything that kind of stuck it to the bad guy, I mean, for, younger viewers, I mean, the whole Attitude Era and Stone Cold versus Vince. I mean, it was kind of like that. I mean, it's like, anything that goes against the authority at the time was praised. So you had Smokey and the Bandit might have been the epitome of that in the 70s, but you also had movies like Convoy with Chris Christopherson
Awesome
that
movie.
focused on that on that kind of theme. Also, what was popular in the day was CB radios. Now, this is going way back before there was cell phones or mobile phones. You had your CB radio, and you had a lot of people started buying CB radios back in the day. And they would basically, you would have these channels, and people would be able to communicate via one. I remember in the early '90s, I had one before cell phones became more mainstream and coverage got better. But because of those CB radios, you were able to certainly communicate, especially if you were traveling in groups like a caravan, because you didn't have GPS. So again, if you were going to make a turnoff into an exit or a filling station or a rest stop of some kind, I mean, you can kind of communicate to the convoy about what the group was going to be doing and where to pull off and where to stop and whatnot. So again, going down I-95, you can have those kind of I mentioned convoy, so you had that movie, and then you also had again, even Clint Eastwood got in on it a little bit. I think it was Any Which Way But Loose. Again, this idea of the anti-hero. You had TV series like Sheriff Lobo, which spun off another series which I kind of enjoyed growing up, was BJ and the Bear, which again, it focused on this sort of trucking culture where the antagonist was usually some sort of corrupt law enforcement agent that was always trying to get the anti-hero but could never catch him. And so again, all of this came out like in the late 70s, mid to late 70s into the early 80s.
I don't know if you remember a movie called Black Dog.
Oh, I'm sorry, what's it called?
Black Dog.
Never heard of
It's
it.
a trucking movie. It's got
Is that the one where the truck had a gremlin on the front, or like the Green Goblin or something like that on the front of it?
No.
Okay, then I don't.
No. It's got the guy from Dirty Dancing who's a truck driver, and he's got
Patrick Swayze. Yeah.
Yep. It's got Meatloaf as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he drives a truck.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get from point A to point B without stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And they find out that the truck's full of ammunition, guns, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally, what it's all about is the guy, Patrick Swayze, is a truck driver. He lost his license and got on parole and nearly killed someone because he'd been going flat out for so long. He imagined that there was a black dog coming crashing through the windshield of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's why the movie's called Black Dog.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I don't think I saw it, but again, just going. No, the movie that I'm talking about actually just jogged my memory. The movie with, I think it was like the Green Goblin on the front of it's called Maximum Overdrive, but that was like a totally different.
Yeah, it's got the same guy.
That was like a totally different thing. But
what's the bloody other movie? Men at Work.
Yeah. But again, just going back to that era. Again, you had a lot of properties. So again, Dukes of Hazzard, for example, was kind of similar to that. In that, again, you had a corrupt, Roscoe P. Coltrane cop, and you had Boss Hogg, who was like the mayor of the town, and they were always trying to get the Dukes because they would do things like bootlegging moonshine, which is certainly in the South at that time were illegal activities. But it wasn't. I wouldn't say it might have been above the law or illegal, but it wasn't like a major offense. But the whole plot of the TV series is that the Boss Hogg and Roscoe, they were always trying to bust the Lukes for something, but they couldn't let anything stick. So I think it just reflected the time. And the more I think about it, just from, I know this is sort of a hangout, but it might be just a social commentary. I think that's where it was. I think Vietnam had a lot to do with that. The more I think about it. Because Vietnam really changed the country's perception of law enforcement because of the protests that went on. Interesting, a lot has happened today, as well as the, just not trustful of authority and government. And so all of these franchises that came out from that, the TV shows, the movies, was about these guys who, again, may have gone a little bit above the law or, a little bit illegal, but, these corrupt, crooked police and bureaucrats It was just, really sticking it to him. So I think there was a big demand for that. And so Smokey and the Bandit, like I said, might have been the epitome of that culture back then. Now, what made Smokey and the Bandit really popular, besides from the idea, again, the CB radios that I talked about before, was the car. Now, again, it doesn't compare to KITT at all in terms of functionality. But you're also talking about what was going on in the 70s at the time, really starting in the 60s and in the 70s, was the idea of the muscle car. Big V8 engines, lots of power. So you had Camaros, you had the Mustang, especially the Mach 1 version of the Mustang that came out in the late 60s and early 70s. But maybe the car that epitomized the muscle car era was the 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. In particular, that car, because it was black and it had that gold phoenix on the top of the car, that really made it. And it had that I don't know what you would call it. I'm not the biggest car guy, but it also had that turbocharger thing, like sticking out of the front hood of the car as well. So all of that, I mean, it was the rave. It's like every kid in the 70s had a poster of that car, and maybe in addition to other cars, but the quintessential car of the 70s and maybe of all time was that version of the Trans Am. Trans Am's been out since the 60s, 69, I think, or 70, I think, when it first came out. But that iteration, it looked like something from another planet. It looked like a big evolution in terms of design. The fact that it was black, which, again, the whole idea of black at that time meant typically the bad guys. Bad guys wore black in typical movies. Bad guys wore black, good guys wore white. But here you have the main character in the film who was kind of, like I said, the anti-hero, or if you want to call him the good guy, call him Stone Cold Steve Austin, whatever it was. But he was the good guy, and he had a black car. So again, it just all that to more gave that impression. Here's the anti-hero with the black cool car that's giving a middle finger to the corrupt, bureaucratic, bigoted, authority of the day. And that resonated with people. And that's why, again, you had all those shows kind of copying, like I said, BJ and the Bear or Sheriff Lobo, which were long-running TV series, kind of mimicked that. And, it was like these guys were always one step ahead of the law. And Eric is right. I mean, certainly Matchbox cars, and if you were into collecting those toy cars back in the day, again, that was arguably, like I said, one of the number one cars. So in terms of again, we didn't have digital back then. So it was like in terms of posters, in terms of cars collection, you wanted that black Firebird. And again, the Firebird, what made the car, not only the look, but the gold, as well as the Firebird on it. Like I said, it just looked like something that you never saw before. Yeah, and also the T-top on top with the roof that came off of it. You sort of take that off, and but that was, I mean, that car looked like it was speeding when it was standing still. I mean, but like I said, nobody saw that before, and that was the car. That was the dream car. Like, I don't know even if people are even into cars like that today. Like, people say, they want a Lexus, they want or Mercedes, or even like a Corvette. I mean, that car might have been more popular than a Corvette. If you bring up a picture like the 1977 Corvette, that was one of the best looking Corvettes ever of the muscle car era. But I think and there were movies around that. So again, not only the muscle car era, you had these movies that Corvette Summer with Mark Hamill from Star Wars. He starred in that movie where he had this sort of souped up Corvette. So again, Corvettes, Camaros, Trans Ams, these really fast cars, Mach 1s, Ford Mustang Mach 1s. Even if you go to like the Road Warrior or Mad Max, the Interceptor from those films, a lot of those movies focused on, crazy, Dirty Harry, crazy, I think Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. All of these pursuit chase films with these souped up muscle cars going against police and all these police. And like I said, they never could catch them. So again, that was just the era of the time, but it was still the same thing. Middle finger to the corrupt, bureaucratic society. And we're going to do it in the coolest looking car. And not to mention, just to cap it all off, Burt Reynolds was probably the biggest superstar in the world at that time. Forget Arnold and Stallone, even though Stallone was making his own. Rocky came out in 76, and we all, in the whole Rocky franchise and everything. But it was Burt Reynolds, and everybody and everyone else was second place. He was the number one box office star probably in the world at that particular time. And so when you include that, when you include the car, when you include the CB radio craze that took place, the anti-authority, anti-establishment, anti-hero genre, that is what made it all work. And to prove how well it worked, in 1977, Smokey and the Bandit was the second highest grossing film of the year, only supplanted by Star Wars. But Smokey and the Bandit beat Close Encounters of the Third Kind, beat Saturday Night Fever, beat The Spy Who Loved Me, a James Bond film, beat Annie Hall, which won best film of that year, and it didn't make a ton of money. But I'm just saying, you had some major films: Star Wars, Smokey and the Bandit, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Saturday Night Fever, The Goodbye Girl, The Spy Who Loved Me. Again, these were major films, big blockbuster at what was considered at the time major films of 1977. And the fact that basically a comedic film. I mean, it wasn't like a serious film. It was kind of like Burt Reynolds is like a comedic actor. For a comedy to make that kind of money in that era. Now, Star Wars blew everybody away. Star Wars made over $200 million. I mean, in 77, that was like unheard of. But for a comedy to make that kind of money in that time was, now again, the subsequent movie, there were two other movies that came out. Smokey and the Bandit 2 came out in 1980. Smokey and the Bandit 3 came out in 83. Each film drastically worse than the other. Smokey and the Bandit 3 didn't even have Burt Reynolds in it. It was a bomb. It was made for $9 million back then. It only made $7 million at the box office. It was totally a pan film. It was like, it's not even worth mentioning. But compared certainly to Knight Rider, you guys can sort of take it from here. That's it. The only comparison is, again, it's a Pontiac Trans Am. Basically, then Pontiac, they did a major redesign, a major evolution in the next phase of the car. And so if you look at the 77, 78, 79, and even 80 versions of the Pontiac Trans Am, it was basically the same looking car. When they came out to the 82, when they started putting in aerodynamics, and all those cars, Ford and a lot of the American companies really started to, instead of having these big, bold lines like the cars in the 70s did, they went to these sleeker, more aerodynamic cars and changed everything. So again, when the 82 Trans Am came out, and then obviously the fact that KITT and Knight Rider, certainly ushered in that car, and that car became very cool. But that's a totally different thing, because then it was about not only the car, but also KITT and the function of the car. In Smokey and the Bandit, the car didn't have to do a thing. It just had to just be there. And people were just going gaga. Like, that is like the greatest car of the day. And if you could have your pick of any other car outside of maybe like a 77 Corvette, it was going to be that 77 Trans Am. And that's really where it is. The car didn't do anything crazy. It didn't do like the Dukes of Hazzard car. It wasn't jumping over ravines and rivers and stuff like that. They didn't do any stupid stuff with it, like or the Fast and Furious series. They didn't go that far with any of these cars, but it was just, again, it was a monster of a car. You go to a car show or something like that, and if you saw it, or if you saw it on the road, everybody in the school bus would just go crazy. Look, there's the car, and everybody's face would be pinned up against the glass of the school bus, looking at that car going by. It was a very sought after vehicle. Anytime, like I said, between that 77 and 80, 81. That was the car that every kid and every adult, if you had the money to get one. But again, it was a V8. It was loud. The fuel economy might have been 8 miles a gallon back then. And you didn't care. All we knew is if you had that car, you probably had any girl that you wanted. And speaking of girls, back then, hot rod magazines were very popular. And every one of those magazines would have that car on it, and a girl in a bikini sitting on or laying on that car. And so it was a perfect marriage. Hot car means hot girl. And everybody was like, if I get that car, I get that girl. And that's how it was. And that's about as much as I can give you on the era and on the car and on the phenomenon that it was. But like I said, it didn't last very long. They didn't have a TV series or whatever, but I said all those other TV series focused on, again, the cops versus the anti-hero. And that was definitely something very elemental of the time.
See, now that you mention all that, and I should have talked to you sooner. I should have put, excuse me, I should have put Smokey and Bandit versus Dukes of Hazzard. I think that makes more sense to do a show on that than what we're doing tonight, because these two shows are so far apart. I think it's no comparison. Or am I wrong?
No, I mean, yeah, because like I said, Knight Rider focused primarily on the car and its personality and its, and that relationship between the car and its driver. That was a totally different dynamic that I don't think was ever seen before. One, because of the technology. You didn't have talking cars. You didn't have, that kind of back and forth with a machine like that in the 80s. So it was revolutionary for the time. But yeah,
Damn,
but
I was ready to rip into you about Knight Rider and shit.
yeah. So I mean, So I mean, if you want to pivot, I mean, certainly if you guys want to speak on Knight Rider, you guys want to pivot to, we can talk about Dukes of Hazzard. But I'm just giving you that.
This comparison is not going to be like a fair comparison. It's going to be 9 day. I thought it was a little different, and I was wrong. That's why I should have contacted you soon. I just haven't had time to work and everything. That's on me. But I think we should pivot. This is the benefit of being the CEO. I can change whatever I want whenever I want. I think we should change this from Knight Rider versus Smokey and Bandit, if all you guys agreed, to Dukes versus Smokey and Bandit.
It's probably a fair comparison. But again, if you guys can speak on it, I can speak on it, but I don't know if you guys have familiarity with the
Dukes of Hazzard very well.
Okay.
I watched multiple shows. I didn't watch the whole series. I watched enough to be able to have that conversation. And they both did make a movie of it. I know Smokey and Bandit only did a movie, not a show. Am I correct, Paul?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Smokey and Bandit only did a movie, not a show, correct?
Right, they did. There were 3 films. There were pods. They were trying to do a show in '94, didn't come off, and then they were trying to do one. Seth MacFarlane, I think he was trying to do one in 2020. But it's still kind of in concept, and it really got off the ground. But like I said, I don't know if that still works today. Like I said, I think you really have to go with, again, the time, which is why both Dukes of Hazzard and Smokey and Bandit, why they did well was because of the time. And like I said earlier, I think Vietnam had a lot to do with that.
That does sound right, to be honest with you, because Vietnam did have a lot of impact at the time with shows and everything, with their lifestyle at the time. When I say they, I mean people who lived in that era, because I was not even a sperm yet at the time.
Right.
So Yeah, Greg wasn't sperm. Right? You were just born, right? Paul, am I wrong?
I was born in '69, so I was, certainly Vietnam was well underway by that time, and I was too young to remember
Of
the
course.
the protests and everything like that. But again, this is probably my favorite time in U.S. history because again, I think that really changed again the relationship between government and its citizens as well as between generations. Because up to that point, I think a lot of people were kind of in lockstep generations in terms of America, what America meant, patriotism, and all those things. Vietnam really changed the game, where families were literally broken up over that stuff, and you really saw that in series like All in the Family. I think you certainly saw that dynamic if you ever watched that show. That really highlighted that generational divide between the protesters and their parents who were, of the World War II generation and the greatest generation and the baby boom generation. Certainly very different from the kids that came up in the 60s who saw, again, their government doing things that went against, totally flew in the face of those American values that they were taught growing up. So it was basically, so that started a lot of the counterculture revolution of the 60s and into the 70s versus the silent majority and all those conservative points. You also had a lot of that split between the conservatives and the liberals at that point really took place during that time.
So one thing I can do, I know I speak on both a little bit. A couple clips I did watch Smoking and Bandit, and versus they were both a little bit about outlaw groups. They both were chased by a sheriff. Am I right so far?
Yeah.
And both were on the opposite side of the law, but they were doing the opposite side of the law to do good, not bad.
Not always. Not always.
Most
Yeah.
times.
I don't even know about that. I mean, certainly I would say more Dukes of Hazzard than Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit, the whole premise of the movie was they were doing something illegal. Like the whole idea was they had to transport like 400 cases of Coors beer from Texas to Atlanta, which I think at the time was illegal. But there was a big monies kind of thing, and Smokey being again the bandit that he was that was his sort of his code name, especially on the CB radio. It was a chance to make some money, but again, it was considered like bootlegging or moonshine or whatever. I mean, yeah, they were illegal, but it's almost like for a lot of years, even before weed was legal, people smoked weed, right? And it's like kind of like, look, you're gonna put me in jail for this? It was kind of that kind of thing. I mean, it was it was like a I guess vices, if you will, but did it hurt people or society or whatever? But again, especially all these movies or shows took place in the South. So again, there was definitely an issue there because again, conservative Bible Belt, ultra conservative values and all that kind of stuff was there. And, even when I traveled over last summer, when I was going to Georgia, all those trips, the town that I was in until recently, you couldn't buy beer on Sunday. They call it a dry day. And I think there's towns throughout the country that's still like that now, where you can't buy alcohol on Sundays. I think they just passed within that past year when I went there. They just passed a law removing the prohibition of buying alcohol on Sundays.
That's odd, to be honest.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so again, the South, you have all of these rules, or like I said, it's a pushback against this conservative, quote unquote, God fearing sort of culture. But I mean, even took place even in the 80s. Remember Footloose? If you ever watched that movie, Footloose, same thing. The town was conservative, no dancing, and it's like, I mean, like I said, it was like an ultra conservative town and rock music and all that kind of stuff. It poisoned the minds of the generations and on and on. So again, you had that kind of heavy-handed, puritanical approach to the society versus people just wanting to have a little freedom. And the idea was, what's wrong with having a little fun? And so again, that kind of not only generational divide, but also the cultural divide. And people saying, "Oh, well, this is bad for children, and these guys are bad role models, and we need to get rid of that because and people should respect the law no matter what they do." And that was the big problem. No matter what they did, you still are supposed to have respect for law enforcement. And a lot of those shows showed you how corrupt and dirty law enforcement was.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, "No, I'm." Even if you want to call these guys bad guys or even say that they're doing illegal stuff, I'd still rather pick them over the authority that's telling me one thing and doing something totally different. That in their minds, the only reason they're doing that stuff is just a way for them to put money in their pocket. It's all about getting money. And selling conservatism and all those kind of things was just a way to have control over people. But these guys, they were fattening their pockets up. Boss Hogg had every illegal scheme that could be, and the reason why he got upset is because sometimes the Dukes from Dukes of Hazzard would always bust him, in fact, he was never busted, because if he was busted, I'm thinking they wouldn't vote for him. But it was like he would think he would have them, but they would get dirt on him also. So it was like, look, if you don't tell about us, if you don't prosecute us, we won't tell the public about your illegal or illicit activities. And then you'd be like, okay, fine. Then, go off and do your thing, until next time you can find a way to try to trap the Dukes again. So that was kind of like the premise of the show. And just a little backdrop on the show, I guess the father or the grandfather of the show, I forget his name, the older gentleman, him and Boss Hogg, they used to run bootlegging. They did bootlegging back in the day. But when, I guess, Boss Hogg, he became a politician and whatnot, but, it's almost like the OG's like, look, I know who you are. You trying to come off as this a respectable politician or whatnot. You're not. We used to run the same roads that back in the day, so you're not fooling anybody. And I think that Boss Hogg always kind of resented this image that he was trying to portray versus the truth. Like, he tried to bury his background, and but he knew all the stuff, because there were times when when they say the enemy of my enemy is your friend. There were times when they had to kind of collaborate against that even more evil or more dirty force, that where the Dukes and Boss Hogg would actually get together on some things, and they had to kind of remind each other, like, wink, wink, this gonna affect all of us, so we better work together. And then as soon as the evil threat was, or the more hostile threat was done, then they went back to being antagonists again. So again, but that whole anti-hero culture was very prominent, and like I said, Dukes of Hazzard did that. Now again, Dukes had, I think they went a bit far, like I said, back before Fast and Furious started doing those car jumps and stuff like that. Dukes of Hazzard was doing that way ahead of time. I mean, that was certainly something that a lot of kids appreciated. You had kids who, again, they liked the General Lee, and they liked the cars, and they had the Matchbox cars and all that kind of stuff too. The only major pivot, and I will say this is a pivot, and I will use a word that a lot of people don't like today, but I will use it. That is the idea of woke. Because people got woke because the one thing about the General Lee, that when we got woke and when we understood, like I said, when we were kids, it was a cool car. It was a rebel flag. We knew nothing about it. But once we started learning about the Confederacy of the United States and what the Civil War was about and all those things, we got woke in a hurry. And we were like, whoa, can I really support a show that had a car, that had a flag, and that flag represented a rebellion against the United States, that we fought a war over that cost tens of thousands of lives in efforts that led to the freeing of African American slaves. So we had to kind of jump off of that after now some folks were like, hey, I just like them show. I like all that stuff is fine. I like it. And all that kind of good stuff. And hey, I'm not gonna not like the show because it had the Confederate flag in it. But when a lot of us, when we became more aware, i.e. woke, and that's what woke meant originally. It was having an understanding of history and the facts of history and looking at it from a different perspective. That's what woke, the whole idea of being woke, that's what it meant. And when we came into awareness, we were like, we couldn't support it. And it's interesting because in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was always like they were always doing these like Dukes of Hazzard reunion shows and things like that. They were in a series of advertisements using the General Lee. And what was interesting then was they had to remove, because of the wokeness or the changing of times, they had to remove the Confederate flag from the General Lee in the ads, to which a lot of people were upset about.
I know
because they were saying it was too woke.
Yeah, in the movie they still had the flag on it the whole movie. Mandrell, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Man?
And the thing is, I agree with almost just about everything Paul said here. I don't think I don't have a contrary opinion of anything, like anything, none of it. I don't have it. But for me, it's Smokey and the Bandit all the way. You couldn't beat Burt Reynolds and Jackie Gleason. Jackie Gleason, he made that movie. It would not be anywhere near as successful. I know how iconic the car is. You're absolutely correct. I wouldn't one growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that car was just another level, man.
I still have a love and a passion for American muscle cars.
Yeah,
I still have it. I don't know what they're doing these new ones today. Most of them look like electric razors.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
They do.
Just charge it up. Just charge it up, right?
Like that's why you got.
Like I said, you want but I'm saying the car in. You wanted power. It was V8. You didn't care about gas mileage. You didn't care about the environment. You wanted loud.
Yes.
Like you wanted that revved up engine.
Yes.
You just wanted that. You wanted that power, and it just represented that machismo. That, like I said, was of the era. And like I said, with the magazines, all those car magazines, everyone had a bikini girl on sitting on top of the hood of one of those cars. That was the epitome of, like I said, the American male. Like the top of the line. It didn't matter what else you had. It didn't care if you had a job or not, right? No. Or career education. It didn't matter. If you had the car, you got the girl.
Yep.
And that's all that mattered.
That was it.
They didn't care how you got it, legal or illegal.
Like I said, I'm actually surprised most of the time. I don't know why I'm still surprised sometimes, but you still get me. Like seriously, like how like-minded we actually are. Like seriously, like most of the time, there are times I won't come up on a panel. Most of the time, like it's like, oh, Paul's there, it's fine. He's just gonna say the same thing I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? But you're also accurate as well. Like everything you said here was accurate. Like even down to the General Lee, the Dukes of Hazzard, and everyone was fine. I love that show.
Yeah, nobody. We had no
problem.
But again, you're 8, you're 10. You didn't like I said, and it wasn't until I don't know when did you learn about the Civil War, Mandrell? What grade?
I'm not sure what grade it was.
It was at least high school. I mean, and so like you really got into it. Like it was high school, you know what I mean?
Down here, we knew about the Civil War, and we knew about the Confederate flag. Like that, we knew that's the flag they flew, right? But we didn't really know what it meant because we went over the Civil War stuff in elementary school. I remember that. Then revisited it again in high school.
Right.
You know, like here in the South, they didn't let us forget Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Like this is in white schools though. White school, because I went to white schools my whole life.
That's surprising because I was just hearing something recently where they said in a lot of those southern schools they didn't even call it the Civil War. They call it
the War of Northern Aggression.
Northern Aggression. Yeah, so I was like, I didn't even know if you guys got it like that.
That's Mississippi. Okay, that is as close to hell on earth as you're gonna get in the United States.
Wow.
Okay, that place is. I remember I went to Jackson in 2001 for some kind of conference or convention or something like that they were having. I was in college, and I was about to leave. I was almost done with college, right? The first time around, and one of my professors was there. Then my great uncle, he's a big donor and a big booster for the university. He said something about it. He said he's going to be there and all that stuff. So I went down there by myself. I get to downtown Jackson, and I was like, "Whoa, deliver me from 1953." Like, what has changed since the 50s and 60s here? Nothing. Like, everything looks like a movie set. You know what I'm saying? Everything looks like a period piece from that time. And I was like, what? And again, people are like, well, you're from Montgomery, Alabama. I'm like, yeah, but Montgomery, Alabama is Starfleet compared to this. And it really was. It really was. It's like we were like Starfleet compared to Mississippi.
Wow.
And I went to college in Huntsville, and again, light years ahead. And I was like, how do you like? What are you doing with your tax dollars? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are the roads so terrible? And anyway,
water infrastructure,
exactly. Anyway, I'm getting off into another subject, but you're right. Like, Smokey the Bandit. Here's the only thing I disagree with, because you got to paraphrase, but you got to give respect to the bandit. Okay, look, he was tasked or challenged, right, by a rich millionaire bigwig to drive from Georgia to Texarkana, Texas,
right, to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, to pick up 500 cases of Coors beer, right, and come back in I think it was 18 hours or 16 hours, one of the two. And Bandit said, well, getting there and back in 16 hours, that's no problem. The problem is that Coors beer, you see that you take that east of Texas, and that's bootlegging.
Exactly.
You're right about that.
That's what I'm saying. It's not, but it's illegal, but it's not like, it's not like you're doing narco trafficking. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but
it's still,
it was still illegal, and it wasn't prohibition for like the 20s.
The 20s,
and things like that. But but hijinks ensue, man. Because like I said, Jackie Gleason made that film. Like, that was my introduction to him. Like, actually knowing, because I've seen him in other stuff too, but actually knowing who this guy was and actually seeing his work. Oh my God! Like, you can watch that film today and die laughing.
Yeah,
like, you will seriously, Pete. You will die laughing if you watch that today.
I don't doubt it.
Oh my God, you'll roll over. Because the dialogue, it's like, who wrote this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's genius.
I think probably the Gleason, he probably had libbed it,
like Bernie Mac used to do. They wouldn't even give Bernie Mac a script. Just, hey man, here's the scenario. Go. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Jackie Gleason. I can tell you about so many different. Because I know people who behave like him. Like, I grew up knowing people who, like, that's who they are. That's how he talk to you. Like, when he first, you're right. There's a lot of Southern influence in that film, tons of it. But also, like, back to Dukes of Hazzard, you're right. When we found out what that Confederate flag actually meant and was actually all about, yeah, we divested real quick. And you're also correct. Wait, you're also correct when he said woke actually means to become aware. That's what woke originally meant. Now white people have done what they always done. They commandeered it without actually knowing what it means. You know what I'm saying? They gentrified it like they did Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Which is amazing, by the way. Like, I didn't understand. Like, I asked my sister, like, how the heck? This is Brooklyn? How? Like, when did Brooklyn get a Trader Joe's and a Whole Foods? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, it's something completely different now. But like you said, when we became woke, when we became aware of what that flag actually meant, like, okay, now white people, this is a flag of treason. Okay, these are people who tried to break away from the United States. They committed treason. And why are you so proud of this? It's my heritage, a heritage of traitors to the United States. You're proud of that. Huh. Good for you. Not for me. But
Yeah.
good for you. You know what I'm saying?
And it's interesting because, again, I guess the guy, John Schneider, who was on that
Yeah.
show, he kind of, spoke out, not against against the removal of the Confederacy. He's kind of like one of these, good old boys, I guess. And he was sort of outraged, and again, he went the woke route and stuff, like using it as a negative, not understanding what that flag and what that meant and represented to a good portion of the population of the country, especially since the majority of black people live in the South. So it was definitely it put the show in a different light. But again, the one thing I would say that it also had, and again, now my first crush ever.
Daisy Duke?
No,
Okay.
it was Linda Carter and Wonder Woman. That came out early. That was the
You know what?
70s. Yeah,
You know what?
Linda Carter.
Can't
That was
blame you.
that was it. I mean, she's still number one. But then when Catherine Bach came out, and that whole thing talk about Daisy Dukes, what that meant, you got to go back to that show. That they revived in the '90s with all those ATL rappers and all that stuff, talk about Daisy Dukes and all that stuff. But I mean, she was, you didn't see that. I'm almost surprised that they allowed that on. It wasn't salacious or anything like that, but I'm just saying. But for TV of that day, to allow her to wear those shorts the way they were, it was like, because
But the thing, if you still remember back then, girls used to wear that. Well, you grew up in the American Northeast. I grew up in the American Southeast. Down in the South, that's what adult
that was standard.
women- Yeah, adult women, they would wear shorts like that during the summer because it's scorching hot
Hmm.
in the American Southeast during the summer. Like, especially around July, August. Whole crap, dude. Okay, but that's just what, it wasn't a fashion trend or anything like that. It's just, women wear that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, that's just like you and I wear t-shirts.
Right, but all I'm saying, up here, if you saw it, it wasn't so common. Like when you saw someone, if they were wearing something like that, everything stopped. You were like, "Yo!" Like, it was kind of, and like I said, you start walking, you'd be in the store, be like, "Yo, look at her down there, man." You know what I'm saying? So but if you're saying everybody wore them, that I'll take your word for it. But I'm just saying, but at the time, Catherine Bach, at that time was, definitely, because in fact, Wonder Woman, I think, was over at that time. So it's like you went from Linda Carter to Catherine Bach or Daisy Duke. And again, hot is like the only way to describe. It was, and again, it was different too, because just like Linda Carter, it was the brunette. Because you always put on there like the blonde, brunette type. I mean, blonde beauty queen, but brunettes were starting to take over. So yeah, Linda Carter was a brunette, Catherine Bach was a brunette, and that whole vibe was popping back then.
See, I actually like the movie version of Dixie, from Dukes of Hazzard. Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson.
She had a better body, I think.
At that time, Jessica Simpson.
She had more up top. I mean, she was like a natural D or double D or something. She was top heavy,
And bottom heavy.
Yeah, but she went through a few iterations. In fact, I heard she had to lose a ton of weight for that film or something like that, because she's not naturally that thin.
Right.
She's not naturally that thin. Yeah.
She did a lot of working out and training for that film. To fit the part.
And that's their dedication in the actor. But I think, like I said, you guys think those women are better. I didn't find them attractive. Even now, I look at them like they remind me of grannies. To be honest with you guys, I'm like, I know you're into the nursing home shit, Paul, but I'm like, I want to keep it a little PG if you can. And I know you're into the nursing home stuff.
I got you.
But
now, I honestly, because I don't remember the film that much. Did the general lead that they had in there, did it have the Confederate flag on it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty.
And most people that I spoke to, I have friends, all different kinds, species, backgrounds and everything, and nobody mentioned it. You're the first two guys to bring it up. Like,
I would ask Bandrell then, because like I said, in the Northeast or the North in general, you know, we have a certain way about the Confederate flag. For black people in the South, because I've seen some brothers and sisters in the South rocking the Confederate flag. You know, they take on this, it's our culture, it's history, or whatever. I don't do people in the South generally, when they see the Confederate, do they take it to that extreme, or did it take place with the recent events that happened, like Charlottesville and the Emanuel 9 deleting and whatnot? Did the people's views change then? Because I'm still thinking, I would think it'd be a tough sell. But again, since you grew up there primarily, how do most black people go back into, like, when did that movie come out anyway? Was that the 90s?
Which one?
Dukes of Hazzard, the movie.
That's in early 2000s.
Okay, so early 2000s. So again, you were adult then and whatnot. So what was the general vibe? You saw because again, that was at the time when most of the flags of the states of the South had, in part, a Confederate flag as part of the flag. Mm-hmm. So South Carolina had, you know, they all had a little piece of the Confederacy in the flag still. So again, how did people take it back then when they saw that?
Well, when they saw the General Lee Confederate flag, there was outrage about it. Here's the thing: like, my whole life here in the Southeast, black people didn't play that shit. Like, the Confederate flag, the people who knew about it, no, it was a problem. If they saw, like, a white person flying that flag, instantly that person's a racist. Stay away from them. Not worth your time. You know what I mean? But we saw a black person with that flag or whatever. I mean, it's like, okay, he's automatically a Sambo. You know what I'm saying? But, so, like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's an absolute no. It's a instant, absolutely not. Under no circumstances. You know what I mean? That whole thing. Like, it's not a game. There are consequences, whether it be excommunicado or someone's gonna ask you questions about it. Hey man, what's with the flag? You know what I mean? Just to, you know, because you never know. They might be on a movie set. It might be for some prank or whatever. Maybe that person just doesn't know. You know what I mean? But the best communication you're gonna get with someone out of that is like, hey man, what's with the flag? Mm-hmm. You know, but that person is already on guard. You know what I mean? The person asking the question is already on guard. So no, the whole Confederate flag and stuff like that, people don't play that. And Ku Klux Klan stuff, that's a fight instantly. You know what I'm saying? You come with that kind of stuff. You do that kind of stuff. It is scorched. Like, especially when you come with the Ku Klux Klan stuff, it is scorched earth. Like it's one thing. Like, you see all these racist things happening all over the place. You don't really hear about it in Alabama. You know, and there's one reason why. And this is a part that's left out of history, is that during the whole protests for civil rights, walking across the bridge, you know,
Pettus Bridge,
Emmett Pettus Bridge and all that stuff. So during that time, what black people had done is they carpooled to a bunch of different white neighborhoods and protested there. Not violent. Nobody threw a rock. Nobody did anything. They just kind of stood in the street. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's get back on track of the show. Like, I think
I'm just giving you guys context.
Because, no, I know.
To know what it was like, I was like, that's why, like, when that happened, just to cut it short for you, Pete, when that happened, then white people called the cops, and there's no problem. There's like, that's when the politicians here was like George Wallace was like, okay, cool, we'll cut the shit, because now they're bringing the stuff to our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? And keep the cameras away, keep the press out of it. We'll stop, and that's when everything stopped. You know what I mean? It kind of stopped cold turkey almost. But that's one of those things that's not in history books, and it's kept out of history because they don't want any group to be that bold again. But yeah, it was not appreciated. Me, I was a kid. I grew up on Dukes of Hazzard. I didn't give a shit. Yeah. It doesn't bother me.
Bro, I know a lot of people, and we're gonna drop it off this. I know a buddy of mine he's like David, born African. He has a Confederate flag tattooed on his whole back, and he's a ranger. And he doesn't phase it. To him, it's just a part of history.
Wait, he's a black guy?
In
Compared
Texas.
to, like, oh, he's in Texas. That's why he's retarded. So it's just, you know, it's so that I can get. He doesn't know any better. He can't help himself. Okay, he's on the far end of the spectrum. With the you know, the colors.
What my point was trying to get to is like,
Yeah, that's what it is.
like we're so far from that right now. Like it's just a flag in the show. I don't really see the difference, and that's my opinion. And it's a show, flag in the show. That's it. Let's move on from that conversation because we're getting into the politics parts, and I don't like doing that on this show.
Right, and also you agree. So you know, there's that.
Jeez, man.
I love you, Pete. I do.
I love you too, but I'm gonna show my fucking lightning bolt up your ass. That's what's gonna happen. And I promise I won't use Vaseline either.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, jeez.
But seriously, like let's talk about these cars a little bit here, guys. Like we talked about everything but the cars.
Yes, the Trans Am, the Charger. I wanted the Charger. Yeah, Pete. You know what I also wanted? There's a movie called Vanishing Point. It was a 1972 white Dodge Challenger. It's it was back when stick shifts were like just 4-speed, just 4 gears. But I saw that movie because I watched like all of the muscle car movies. I'm telling you, and I was a kid. I could watch them over and over and over again. My dad didn't understand it. He like make me stop and just start watching westerns or whatever, you know. And then I'd leave, go outside. But then when he starts watching things like Star Trek and shit, I come back. But anyway, yeah, Mopar at that time was big for me. I love Mopar cars, Dodges. You know what I mean? The Challenger and the Charger, not the junk that they make today. But yes, I've always wanted a classic muscle car. And don't even get me started on the Hemi Cuda.
The what car?
The Hemi Cuda.
Hemi Cuda.
Yeah. Plymouth had a car called the Barracuda. But then they did a collaboration with Dodge. And they put a Hemi engine in the Barracuda.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, and here's the thing, like 15, 20 years ago, you could get that car at a really, really, really cheap price, right? No one's paying attention to them. Today, try it. $3-4 million.
Yeah.
Bro, because,
you know what I mean? And then I watched John Wick, Pete. I watched John Wick. I think it was the third one. He's in a Plymouth Hemi Cuda, and they fucked that car up. I was like, oh god, no.
Bro, I know somebody. You're gonna blow your fucking lid when you hear this in a good way. He took a Mustang. He ripped the engine out. Guess what he put in it? A Hemi.
What? Why did he take the Mustang engine out? Here's the thing. The Mustang engine is fantastic too. It is, but
he did it because he wanted to see how much more horsepower he can get out of a Hemi versus the original stock engine. It was like a junk car. There wasn't anything crazy about it. He didn't really care.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So he was just, it was just a play for the car. It wasn't strictly legal. He didn't have doors, bro. It was just a frame. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy to fuck around a little bit with it. Take this out, take that out, kind of thing. And the guy had extra money to spend like that. And when I looked at him like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, this engine has power. And I'm not talking about the GT500 either. I'm talking about like the earlier ones. And those, they have power, but not like the Hemi. The Hemi had 10 times more power than that.
Yeah.
And he wanted to see how much more power he can get out of it. Well, we can put some power on that fucker. He went flying with the goddamn thing. And remind you, there's no seatbelts in this fucking thing, no window shield, it literally one seat. That's all it had and a frame. That's it. I look at him like, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm crazy, but not stupid.
Right.
But
going back to your comments about the cars themselves, I think also was the major part. I don't know if it's as popular today. The whole idea of a car chase was a major part of those films, certainly in the 60s, in the 70s. In fact, if you want to say arguably the greatest car chase of all time was a 1968 film called Bullet with Steve McQueen. You can go and Google, YouTube it now and watch it. Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, in terms of muscle car, the guy had a 68 GT, a Mustang GTO 68, again V8, uh, 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 you know, car. But again, that was a major part of all those movies. Is then again these high speed chases. Before you had Top Gun with jets and Star Wars with spaceships and stuff like that, it was the car chase. You know,
It was.
and Dukes of Hazzard was all about the General Lee outsmarting Roscoe and 3-4 cop cars, and it's like, and it's weird. The only thing about I mean, I think about it now, it was almost kind of silly because it's like nobody knew how to. It's like back then, nobody knew how to shoot, right? It's almost like all the cops, 200 cops firing, can't hit one. The winning guy's going bing, 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 just taking everybody out. It's like the same thing with the cars. Nobody knows how to drive, right? Or their car, like, again, you got the General Lee jumping over a bridge or something. And their cars, they try to go over, it's like, whoop, and they just go like straight down or whatever. It's like nobody knows how to drive or took a speed driving course or something like that as a cop or whatever. And it just kind of became silly. But that was such a thing. That was kind of like the thrill of the movie or the highlight of the film. Especially like at the end of the movie, like a fast, high-speed chase. They might be bumping and grinding and stuff before they, one car runs off the road and blows up or something like that. But that was, again, something that you got used to. Look at Mad Max, the original Mad Max movie. All those high-speed chases that led to oftentimes fatalities in the film. But it drew you in. I mean, the fact that the camera would be on the road, like, it's almost like, where they getting these camera shots from, right? It's like you got to go down 80 miles an hour, and the camera guy's like right here taking the road, and you're feeling it. I mean, it's so I think that was also part of the appeal of both movies was, again, you had these fast cars on the road. Like I said, the Trans Am didn't do tricks. Like I said, it wasn't jumping over highways and ravines and stuff like that, like the General Lee did. But I think that certainly that part of it. Like I said, General Lee was doing jumps way before the Fast Five or franchise ever did, and I think that was certainly something that was different from other vehicles of the era. You didn't have that kind of stuntsmanship that they had back then. And I still don't know how they did it. I think you had, like, in the 70s, you had like Evel Knievel on a motorcycle. Like, he was jumping over buses and stuff like that. But in cars, that, I still don't see how those guys did that.
Let's talk about the scenes for a second. Let's use Dukes of Hazzard and Smokey the Bang, for example, and let's use the newer ones like Fast and the Furious. Not the first couple movies, all right? Because the first couple movies, they were pretty grounded, let's be honest. Versus later on, it became more.
They were jumping the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, they're jumping. Dude, they're fucking jumping. Okay, we'll get Menja, who it was in the military. Let me ask you a question. Do cars jump out of planes like that and roll over and stay in one place? I'm pretty sure the answer is fucking no. So I don't need to be in the military or have a brain cell to understand this is fucking retarded.
It is like the one that I haven't even watched the one where they went in space yet. Yeah, there's one they said they went in space. There's one, it is. I've heard about that. They say they went in space, and then I was like, what? They really did?
I'll put it this way, bro.
I'm not watching that.
Yeah, I would watch it as a entertainment show, to be honest with you. But I won't like if it's free on on Amazon or something like that. Yes, I will watch it, but I won't go out of my way to go pay for it, if that makes sense. If it's free, I will watch it. So because it is a movie. Let me check it out. Do I think they're now retarded and kind of like more like comedian movies? Yeah, because I laugh at those scenes. But let's talk about the first three at least. No, like the first couple, I would say, before it became crazy, when the movies were still based on racing. Like, if you watch the first one, it was pretty grounded. Here's your car, you did what you needed to, and go for it. Same thing with these guys. They built the car, but only different. One was racing, one was trying to flee the cops. Okay, I can see the different understanding. But the both things about those cars, they had to modify them. Obviously, we're talking two different eras, two technology. If I had to pick a car to modify it in any shape, way, or form, I'll pick old school muscle any day versus this Japanese crotch rockets. I feel American muscle will always beat any import out there. That's my personal opinion. I've been wrong before, and we can have that discussion if you guys disagree.
But what is considered American muscle today? Like, is there anything that's close to? Like I know the new Charger looks pretty good. You know, it does kind of have that kind of old school feel to it.
And the Mustang too.
And the Mustang, right? But really, like I said, that era, because even with the Mustang, it's gone through so many iterations in the '80s. You know, they kept just changing it around. It's almost like it doesn't even have they would just kind of do these restarts and just kind of redesign. I mean, now I think it looks pretty good. The Mustang as well as the Charger, but you know, but I think there was a time when I think we got away from that. Like I said, when we went to the aerodynamic designs, looking for sleekness and whatnot versus power, I think that's, you know, I think that was definitely a turn away from that. So maybe now I guess we're getting back to that, or do people want again that V8? And I don't even know, do they even still make V8s today? And
yeah, but it's rare to get them.
They're moving away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I guess they want the whole country to be. I just caught myself. Thank you. Yeah, they just want the country to be soft. We'll say that.
So here's the thing. I talk to a lot of people. All right. You know, about, you know, through work, because I have a lot of customers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my customers, they're younger generation, and they do spend money on their cars. But what's one thing about these cars, and each for own, I'm not telling you how to spend your money. You can do whatever you fucking want. Most of the times when you drop thousands in your car and you try to sell it, you're never going to get it back. Let's be honest. So people have realized that now. They're not doing as much modification to the cars like they did back in the 90s, the 80s, in the early 2000s. I remember dropping thousands in a car,
right,
to the point I wanted to. I'm looking at a picture of the GT500 2026, and that car looks slick, to be honest with you. And you put a nice body kit on it, it's mint.
Mm-hmm.
But is it going to beat the original GT500? That is the question. I don't know how to answer that because I don't know. To me, my favorite muscle car is GT500 Mustang. It's always been and always will. I think it can smoke and I know I'm being a little biased here. I'm not using specs. I'm not using. This is my personal opinion. Take it a grain of salt. I think it can smoke a Charger any day of the week. Could it? I think it's at the end of the day, if the specs are the same, it becomes down to the driver who can drive better overall.
Mm-hmm.
End of the day.
Yeah.
So with that said, muscle car. What do I consider as a muscle car? I will say anything 80s and down. I mean 80s, 70s, and 60s.
Oh wow.
I don't think anything 90s and up is a muscle car. There's too much computers in those cars now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember in the early 2000s, BMW at the time, I'm not sure now, had over 90 PCUs, 90 computers in the car. That was insane when I learned that in college.
Yeah.
I went like, how is that possible? Oh, they're small. They're as size as my phone. That's why they was possible. You had every single one for doing everything. Dude, you know those you ever see how those cars has a massagers, you get nice stuff?
Yeah.
That's a PCU just for that.
Yeah.
And so everything has their own unit. So I don't consider that a muscle car. I would consider a muscle car anything without a technology. Old school. Pedal to the metal.
But would you say a muscle car will only have a carburetor?
Yes.
If a car has fuel injection, it's not a muscle car?
No.
Okay, so yes.
That's my opinion. If you have pushback, please, you have the floor.
No, I'm not saying necessarily pushback. I mean, again, the idea was you wanted well, see, that's the thing. Like back then, because people take their cars like street racing and drags and stuff. I mean, look, you got a Tesla go to 0-60 in 3.6, right? So you got so if that's what you want, if you want speed, then I guess an electric car would do it. I just think that for a lot of people, it's about, again, the nostalgia. Yes, you want a fast car, but again, the ability to have total customization over your car, to be able to get under the hood and make it something, take a base unit and make it your own. I think there's certainly enthusiasts who want that kind of experience, and just nostalgia, like just the sound, right? People like the sound of the muffler, the sound of the revving it up, the that whole experience, the smell of the gas or the engine or the burning tires or whatever. I mean, I just think that there is a passionate group of people who enjoy that experience when it comes on. In fact, it was actually I had neighbors, but they would build those kind of custom funny cars. It's like the cars had ridiculous bodies, like over exaggerated big fat wheels on them. They had the exhaust on the side. They had the flaming red. They would take like these 30s and 40s cars and soup them up into these like I said, the ones that you would see in the car. The ones you would see in the car magazine. So I had neighbors who had those cars, but then the landlord that I had, he built 3 1964-65 Mustangs in his garage. He would get off work and he had it where he had like a separate garage, like off the top, and all you would look out the window and you would just see all these sparks from, because he's using the welder or the sanding or whatever. And he made 3 Mustangs because he just loved that car. And so I think, some people that, it certainly reminds them, of a time where you could do things like that. But now I think interest, unless you're a true car enthusiast like that, people want to get to point A to point B in the most comfortable way possible. If you hear at any time someone just revving their car down the street, it's almost like a distraction now, where back in the day, it was just an everyday occurrence.
See, here's the thing, Paul, with that. I agree and disagree a little, very little. I think most people will go now. If you research the numbers, which car sells the more? SUV, muscle car, what? SUV sells 10 times more than any car out there now. Like I think it was the early 2000s where the boom of the SUV started, and it's still high. Everybody's buying SUVs because it's more comfortable, it's more spacious, and it's safer. And because you buy an SUV, your car insurance is actually cheaper, believe it or not. I didn't know that, to be honest with you, until I bought an SUV. So that's one. Two, the muscle car thing is, when you get older, like your age right now, when you're almost free nester at your, and our Payne's age, you buy a muscle car for enjoyment, to ride around with the missus, because most of them only have 2-seaters, like the Chevy one, which is a Corvette. That's only a 2-seater. You can take the family going anywhere. Right. It's kind of like pointless.
Yeah, it's definitely not that. Or what people get now, what are called? I think it's the Spider. It's like it's a motorcycle in terms of the license. It's got 2 wheels in the front and what's that?
The
slingshot. Yeah, I've seen that. Seems to be, instead of a muscle car, I see a lot of people driving those today as that kind of free ride, that kind of environment, top off the car. That seems to be more the rave now, and it might be cheaper actually. I mean, if you try to buy an equivalent muscle car, you're probably going to put a lot more money into that than the slingshot.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, to be honest, what is slingshot is going for. I know you can rent them for very cheap for a weekend or something like that. It's like barely anything.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it falls down with insurance and everything. I know what category.
Right. Well, like I said, it's classified. I think you need a motorcycle license in order to drive it. It's not it's technically it's not a car. It's not a car driver's license.
Depends on the state. It depends on the CCs on it. You may need a license. You may not need a motorcycle license. It really depends on the CCs. So that's where it goes off. I know in my state, Pennsylvania, it's if the CCs are under so many numbers, you don't need a license. But you can't be driving it on a highway either. So if you're just joyriding in your backyard or something,
you can't drive it on the highway.
If your CCs, if it is CCs are too low, no, they can't keep up with the traffic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but typically a slingshot can. I mean, I've seen them on the
obviously, yeah. A slingshot, I'm pretty sure you're going to need a license no matter any shape, way, or form.
Yeah.
So, like the Can-Ams, that is a reverse trike. It's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Some states don't consider it as a motorcycle. Some states consider it as a car because it's a 2-wheeler up front.
Yeah.
So it really depends state to state. That's what it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And they're both great vehicles. Don't get me wrong. I think both are unique and special in their own ways. The motorcycle is also still very hot out there. A lot of people have motorcycles. But people buying muscle cars or sports cars. I can't even say muscle cars. Let's say sports cars.
Yeah.
It's still out there, but it's very, very, very low end now. People, like I said, towards the end. So with back to the whole movie stuff, those cars were muscle cars. Let's be honest here. They were no computers. They had CB radio. They didn't even have free. You had to open the window the old school way. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mandrel. A circular motion Mandrel.
I was going like this. I wasn't going like this.
Yes. Circular motion. Yeah, you were kind of doing you were kind of doing.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
Here you go. Here you go.
I need that anymore, man.
Boy, that's me shit. Paul admit that. Like you go your dry faces as a married man too.
Do you refill that?
That is true. No lie.
What's up, Greg?
Do you refill that with freshly cranked?
I wouldn't talk, bro. I wouldn't talk. I got smoker for you. If you want me to smoke you, I can smoke you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
My thing is, it's like I said, most of the slingshot S, it goes for $24.99.
That's not bad.
24,099. 24,000.
Yeah, like I said, to get the kind of car, I mean, you might be able to get, and again, it depends upon, like Mandrel said. Once people find out about a car, or becomes popular, that the price can go up dramatically. But if you want to do the work, like I said, the guys on my block that when I was in high school, again, they put the work in hours and hours every night to create these souped up roadsters. I think for the like I said, those cars that came from like those 1930s and 40s body types, and then they put the fat wheels on them and the side exhaust and all that kind of stuff. That's a lot of money, If you try to make, and dedication that you have to that, that is a labor of love. If you want to go there, like I said, but I think the slingshot, at least from what I've seen, I think it gives people like a similar experience. Like most of the time when I see them parked, you know how back in there you would put that cover over your car, like your muscle car. They do that with the slingshots. You know what I mean? Because again, it's open air, so you don't want water or weather elements getting on them. So you cover them up, and again, on that weekend, you take the cover off, take the tarp off, and you get on the parkway and you just drive down to the shore or whatever. So I think that today is the muscle car type of experience that we're probably certainly for a younger generation. But again, for the ones, if you still love the sound of a carburetor, if you still love that kind, even the vibration, right? Because these cars weren't meant to be like when you're on the road, you feel it shaking as you're accelerating. You feel the engine there's like a sense to your body.
The gas needle just going down.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you a great
F that gas mileage. No one cared about that.
Okay, remember in early 2000s, people were buying Jettas like crazy for some reason. Like,
yeah. That's a club in and of itself. I forget what it's called. I think it's called
Hang on. I'm gonna get to that point. I know you. I'm going to hit that. It is a Jetta point, but a lot of people buying the Jettas because they were a little cheaper at the time. If that was a little. It was the Hyundais, the Jettas. Those were import cars were cheaper, but they realized later on the parts were fucking arm and a fucking leg, and they got rid of them. So this guy I knew, his Jetta, he put so many miles on it. He was driving from New York all the way to North Carolina at least every 2 weeks. So that's otherwise a 6-hour drive, I believe, something like that. That's a lot of miles, whatever. So his car finally took a shit. He bought the exact same Jetta he had, but this one was shoot up. So he paid like 20 grand for it used. I looked at him like, I think you're on crack. So but I go, oh man, this guy has done a lot. He put a chip in it. He tuned the engine. It goes on and on and on. I go, okay. About 3 to 4 months later, the engine goes on him. The engine had issues from the start. The guy never told him. So all that money he just dropped in it. He pretty much got ripped off, and everybody told him, even his mechanic told him, "You overpaid for this car. The car has too many miles and too much things have been modified. When you modify the car, what happens, Paul? Do you know?
No.
The price goes down.
Oh, okay.
You lose value in the car. Yes, you lose a lot of value. There's only a few
Depends on who you're
things.
selling it to,
I'm
and
sorry.
what modification. It depends on what modifications you made and who you're selling it to.
He did almost everything you can think of. Like he put NOS in it. He did a chip to it. He put
Oh, so
turbo.
he's doing all that shit. Yeah, you're gonna have to sell that to a very niche market of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I agree. He would be hard pressed to find someone to buy that at a decent price for him. You know what I mean? He's definitely not getting up because like what you call these cars, those Asian cars, crotch rockets.
Pretty much.
They're the ones who like the NOS in it and all the other the ricketa racketa and all the computer stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I mean, as long as you're making money racing off of it, it will pay for itself.
but most people don't race them. That's the thing. They don't make money
Well,
off it.
then what's the point? Never mind.
That's my point.
But again, you do have these car clubs. Like you got these young people, like in New Jersey. I don't know how it is in PA or down the area. Every year, like if you go to like the malls, like any mall, you'll see all these souped up Volkswagen Jettas and Audis and similar cars by these young people, and it's just these meetups that they'll have dozens, if not hundreds, of cars that are all up in the driveway. But again, this is like I said, that kind of environment I think replaced certainly the muscle car. When you got to the 80s, the Jetta was a pretty, for a young person, that was like again the it car. Forget the muscle car of the 70s. By the time you got to the 80s and 90s, it was the Jettas, it was the Audis, and those type of cars that meant zippy cars, meant for maneuverability, not necessarily for speed. And you put the big speakers in them, and you had the open, in the back, and crack the notch back up, and get the big amplifier coming out the back and whatnot. That seems to be what motivates a lot of young people today. Not so much having the biggest, loudest, grumbliest car on the road today. That doesn't seem to interest young people like that anymore.
I personally, to be honest with you, never wanted a German car. I think they're overpriced. I think they cause a lot of issues down the road. And I think there's a lot of hype, but no reward, in my personal opinion. There are a lot of clubs, like you said, that do that. I have one, and one comes to the mall every week. But most of them are more American muscle, more American cars. You might see a couple Hyundais, some Volkswagen, but not as many. They all get together. They're pretty cool guys. But most of the time, you see Mustang, Dodge, and some other Nimpton Dax like that. But mostly Ford and Dodge. You might see some Chevys, but not as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we mentioned some cars, but I mean, neither one of us mentioned the Chevelle, which is another popular muscle car. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you said Mercedes, man. I mean, look, my wife says she wants a Mercedes, and I'm just like, why? And contrary to popular belief of people, something people might not know about me is that I'm cheap. I'll admit that.
Bro, believe it or not, I was
cheap.
looking
So the money's not a problem. You know what I'm saying, Pete? And Paul,
the parts is a problem.
There you go.
Buying a Mercedes is not that expensive.
Right. But when you want to charge me $800 for an oil change, stop playing with me, dude. And if I do it myself, because look, my Silverado,
It avoids warranty, right?
Yeah, it avoids warranty, right? Like my Silverado, right? It's a newer one. Yeah, it's just a new one. I'll just say that. But V8 engine. There's no point in having a truck without a V8 engine, in my opinion. So if I were to change the oil, which is what I want to do, like the old Silverado I had was a 2007, 2008, something like that. I had that thing like forever, dude. You know what I'm saying? I changed the oil. The alternator went out. I just drive to Advanced Auto Parts, buy a new one right there in the parking lot. Just okay, put the new one in. and just drive off. You know what I mean? I, it's just these days they just don't want you to do the work yourselves because the parts are way cheaper if you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just know-how. Like,
Yeah.
learning how to change
I had to change a headlight on my SUV, and the dealership wanted anywhere between $800 to $1,100 for it. I bought the part. Yeah, I bought it on eBay for $110, and the guy installed it for me at the shop for $100. So I mean, it's
right. It's $200. Like for me, and let me tell you something about YouTube. Well, I don't know how to do all that, Mandrill. Let me tell you something about YouTube. If you don't know how to do it, just fucking YouTube it. Anything you want to do to any model vehicle is on YouTube. There's a video showing you step by step what part to get, what model number, where to get it from, how to install it. All of that is there. Luckily for me, I had a grandfather who was a mechanic and a body man. He was really good at it. So growing up, that's what he taught me. He wouldn't let me in his garden because he had a vegetable garden. Only my sister can go in there. Myself, none of the rest of our cousins can go back there. No one except my sister.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me some of the stuff about cars and stuff like that, just to keep me from climbing trees and swinging off shit and jumping off the roof of the house. And he still, to his dying day, he had no clue how I got up on the roof of the house. But if you don't know how, look it up. It's there. And stay away from German cars.
Hey, let me ask Craig, because I know he's been silent for me. I want to get him in on some of this kind of work. The idea of car ownership in the UK, is it a big deal, like for like a young person to have a nice car? And if so, what type of car would they have? Would it be a muscle car? Would it be like a Lexus or Mercedes? I mean, is that even a thing in the UK? Car ownership.
To be happy with what they can get their hands on.
Right. So you don't have that kind of it's just the expense? Is it the money? I mean, what is it?
With the way things are in the UK right now, people don't really want to have a car. People don't even physically own a car in London. Yeah, because it's so either wall to wall with traffic, and you can't get anywhere. You've also got the fact of the clean air tax that you have to pay. On top of that, you also have to pay this new thing that Sadiq Khan put out. And mind you, Sadiq Khan is if you get what I'm saying, a new thing called ULEZ. It's another form of clean air tax. No one wants a car nowadays.
And
also, that's the opposite of Greece. In Greece, okay. So I'll speak about Greece for a second. So Mercedes is not a luxury car in Greece.
It's a taxi, right?
Yeah, they're taxis in Greece. Mercedes and BMW are a normal car, like a Chevy, a Ford, a Hyundai. It's a normal car because the parts are so cheap to get there. Because say German cars, they're our neighbors, so they're not gonna fucking charge us like an arm and a leg to get them. You know what I'm saying?
People in the UK are more into getting electric bikes. Even then, right, the police are physically taking the bikes off of you because they're basically saying they're illegal.
That I cannot speak about Greece, about bikes versus the UK. But what I will speak about, I'm sorry?
You know what I'm on about though?
What do you mean?
Because of a certain wattage on bikes, even though the bikes were built to the legislation that they're supposed to be built at in the UK, and the wattage of the motor.
Oh, the specs.
Yeah, that's the word. Basically, even the police don't know their own laws. Yeah, they're basically saying, "Oh, that bike's too fast. I've got to impound it and crush
Greg,
it."
I'll be honest with you. We have the same problem here with that because every state's so different, and this is such a new technology. The specs are all over the place. But one thing I will say about bikes versus cars, in Greece, they would pick up a bike first, a motorcycle. I'm not talking about an electric bike. I'm talking about old school.
No,
get out one ear, go. Old school bikes. Those are more popular to drive point A to point B versus a car because You got to worry about parking. You got to worry about insurance, all this stuff, and you have to worry about that stuff. About most people who own a bike in Greece don't even have a fucking insurance. To be honest with you, like they just drive it, and most of them don't even have a license. They just go to point B. Yes, it's illegal. I'm not denying that, but they do it. They take the risk, unfortunately.
But now, Craig, in UK, because UK, there's only a couple car manufacturers in the UK. I know, obviously, Rolls Royce, right? And
there you've got, who was it? I can't remember if it was Hyundai or Honda.
No, I'm saying UK brand. I'm talking about UK brands.
Yeah, no. There's multiple different brands in the UK. You've got Fiat, you've got Honda, you've got Hyundai, you've got Vauxhall, Jaguar, Mercedes.
There's a lot of brands that we don't even know about here.
Like Aston Martin's from the UK.
Well, yeah.
I think
you've got what was it? Quite recently, Starmer decided to close down Vauxhall, and that was one of the biggest manufacturers in the UK, right? And a lot of people lost a lot of work, a lot of jobs because of it.
Mm-hmm. So what's the most popular car in UK, just for the average person, if you're going to drive?
It used to be a Ford Fiesta Mark II because of the modifications you could do to it.
Right.
But these newer cars, they're just disposable. Yeah. You literally just throw them in the bin like a wet paper towel. Yeah. You literally just throw them in the bin. You can't physically go to a scrapyard and say, yes, I want this. Apart from the car, right? Mm-hmm. Because they don't have them type of cars anymore because it's all computerized, right? I used to have a car that that was built in 1980s, right? It was literally the first one off the line because it was an actual A reg. That literally had the first letter of the registration was A. So it was the first one off the line. All right. And I don't even have a license. But those old motors were brilliant.
Now, my thing is, like, to you in the UK, and you lot over there in Greece. So this is both you and Peter. Isn't your public transit system like? I've been to London once before, and my experience there was pretty good. Your public transit system is far superior to ours. Like,
it is.
Yeah, it's far superior to ours. Like in London, I wouldn't bother with a car. Like, you don't need it.
I wouldn't have a clue because I don't take the train. I haven't taken a train in many, 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 many years. I wouldn't have a clue.
So in Greece, to take a bus, and it'll cost you a €1. Pretty much, it comes out to like I think $1.50 to $2. It depends on the time. It will be about like if you do it a certain, I think it's like 2 or 3 hours. You can take that round trip very easily. The train is very cheap. Again, it's another maybe $2 or $3. It is almost nothing. And you get a bus every 20 to 30 minutes. Another one comes around, and that's pretty decent time to think about it.
Yeah, but it's far better than ours to like every hour, or hour and a half, or every 2 hours, something like that. Like here, it depends on where you live. Like you live in New York, Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles. The public transit system is actually pretty good, especially in New York. It's fantastic.
It's decent.
Yeah. Here, where I live, like and where I grew up, it's absolute shit. You only have the bus. There's no trains. You better call a taxi if you got the money. You know what I'm saying? Or these days,
where I live in the Poconos,
you have to have a car in the American Southeast. You have to have one.
Over here, where I live, it's the same thing. So Uber made it a little easier around here, but before, it was horrible. Now the buses, you get one bus every hour on a good day. The Pocono Pony is called. Now, is it going to show up every hour? No. If it takes you a normal drive from your house to work, 20 minutes, you need over an hour to get with public transportation to your job. And that's too much. There is no trains around here, and it's only Uber. Yeah, some cab companies, and there's only one left after Uber, and the Pokemon Pony, and it's horrible. Nobody takes it because it's how long it takes.
Let me head out of here,
So,
fellas.
what's up?
Yeah. So let me head out of here, fellas. I gotta head out.
Yeah, I
All
heard
right,
you.
brother.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank
Hey,
you.
stopping on. Yeah, stop. Thanks for stopping on. Hopping
Well,
on.
yeah.
But
Thanks for dropping the link and letting me up, man. But
No, you're always welcome, dude. I told you, you're always a part of this network. You like it or not.
Thank you. I'm happy to be a part of it. I love you guys, man.
appreciate it.
American muscle cars, a thing of beauty. It's a damn shame these kids just. I don't think they know what they're missing. I think they're scared to riding fast cars.
Well, I mean, I guess is you don't want to draw a lot of attention to you. You know, you're on Turnpike 95 and you hear that. Brrr, you know, I mean, you don't want to. People aren't looking for that kind of attention, especially at certain times of the month. So I'm just saying.
Maybe not. But I still like to have one.
Hey, do they have a lot of car shows in your area, like muscle cars shows you can go to and check them?
There's a drag track here.
Oh, see, there you go.
And so people still do own muscle cars.
Mhm.
They take to the track and race them, you know. So they get together, put superchargers on their engines, turbos, things like that.
Oh, that's a question for you. Now, would you ever drive? You say you got truck. I know NASCAR, all that kind of stuff is big, so I'm sure there's racetracks. Have you ever driven one of those cars on a track, taking up over 150, plus?
A Mustang. It was a 2017 Mustang
Nice.
with a supercharger on it. I got up to 196, 190 something
True.
on that track. Yeah, it was wild to go that fast.
196.
Yeah. That car,
How many G's were you pulling, man? You had to be pulling some G's at that point.
I don't know, but yeah, it was to the point where it's pushing you back in the seat, and you have to fight. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying you're going to turn one. I mean, you're going to feel them G-force on you though going in.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's nice, man. So it's good to have it here. It's just a shame to not see it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's fun to race cars, you know. But me, I have expensive hobbies anyway. Like I shoot guns all the time. I buy guns all the time. Like SHOT Show just ended, and my wife and I are going next year. SHOT Show over in Vegas. But yeah, if you collect guns, it can get expensive. Depending on which ones you get.
Yeah.
And how often you're buying them. You know?
should be like those guys. You ever see those guys? Yee.
Yeah,
Like
I've been thinking about doing gun content.
Yeah, here's a 50 cal. here's a Desert Eagle. Well, can this go through a bulletproof vest? You can start your own show. You can start your own channel.
I just watched one of his videos today, actually. No, that's the one I'm gonna watch now. In a few minutes, it's pulled up on my computer. The one with the bowling balls. I see the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I watched it today. That's the new one he posted. It was like, you knew you're not gonna get through it. Why shoot it? It's like something he shoots like something that makes you think like, oh, can I survive this?
Right.
And no.
Well, the one that got me was the one where he's shooting into a pool. So like even with the highest caliber that he had, like the bullet didn't go more than like 6 feet in the water. So it's not like if you're in that situation, just get in the water. That's your safest place. More so than a bulletproof, right? Even a 50 cal or whatever, you'll survive. Just get low enough because that water will stop that bullet, man.
It's not doing much of shit in water. Like I had to tell my mom, like I said, because my mom was like, no, because in outdoor gun ranges, they have a lot of sand dunes to stop the bullets.
Yeah.
My mom was worried about that once. I was like, Mom, that bullet's not going to do anything in that sand. I said, I guarantee you, we can get a 50 cal. It's not going to penetrate more than 8 inches.
Right.
Somewhere between 8 and 12 inches. And sand kills a bullet's velocity.
Yeah.
Just nearly instantly, like almost as soon as it hits the sand.
Yeah, but
in the military we have sandbags.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because sand is just screeching halt.
Yeah.
The one that got me when he shot the shovels, I'm like, but in real life, you're not gonna have 20 shovels in a row to protect yourself against.
That's true. Let's see how many shovels.
Right.
Yeah,
well, even the ones where it's like it says like the bullet didn't like the dummy that he has up there. Like, even though it doesn't get to the dummy, I'm still thinking just the shock or the reverb or whatever is probably enough to like fry your brain or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
that's why when you're wearing the helmets, Paul, like anything more than a 45,
yeah,
you don't want to be hit with anything, period. But
right.
like a 45 won't penetrate.
But I'm saying, but even if it stops the bullet, that's not going to
Right,
stop you from feeling
right.
it. You know,
45, like if you get hit,
you
with
might
a-
get concussed still. You know,
You're
Bro,
going to get
he
concussed.
fucking put a
You
mount.
doing the 9mm, you're going to be concussed. You're gonna, yeah, it's not.
it is not going to penetrate, but
It's
you're
just
dead. Yeah.
Look what he did with the Play-Doh. He put over 1,000 pounds of Play-Doh, shot it, and I'm looking at like, yeah, that would never work in real life.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, one time he took the book reams of paper. So he put like 7-8 reams of paper, like 500 sheet paper, that you get, and he was like going in, like how far does it penetrate through that? But again, that's not a practical defense either. So I agree, but I kind of got into those. But I'm thinking, since you're the gun guy, you got all these caliber of guns. That's certainly something I can see you doing.
Bro, I can see
thought
this
about
guy
that.
buying.
That'd be funny.
This is my dream gun, the Pit Viper. But it's
Yeah.
$7,000.
Yes, and that's the thing about the Pit Viper, and it's like, okay, the Pit Viper versus some other guns, like you're not getting $7,000 worth of better performance. It's just it was made popular because of John Wick, but is it a fantastic 9mm? It is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's a
It is
1911
super-
platform, right?
Yeah, it is super flat shooting. There's
Yeah.
there's practically no muzzle flip at all. You know what I'm saying? It's brilliant engineering, but I'm not gonna spend $7,000 on a 9mm. Not $7,000. I'm not. Like, you got other
Bro,
companies.
if I'm not mistaken, it's a 1911 platform on that, right?
Yeah, almost.
It's 1920. What's it called? 1920 now. The update version of 1911, pretty much. Because
Yeah,
finally
the
updated
2011s now. You want to get the 2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah, if you want those, they're expensive too. Like retardedly expensive. Like Staccato. That's the name of the company. Staccato. They're relatively new. It's a company that bought another company and just renamed it Staccato, and they did a brilliant job of engineering those firearms. They do 2011 platforms only so far. They only done 2011 platforms, but they are brilliantly engineered. If you're looking for that, I say go Staccato. Save up your money and get one. Okay, because I haven't heard anyone say anything negative about them yet. Just don't get a stupid ass Glock. If you should still have my phone number, man. Give me a call for you buy a firearm, please. Just because I see people make a mistake all the time. Oh, I'm just gonna get a Glock. I want to get a Glock. I'm like, why?
I actually had a Glock.
I'm like, why?
I had a Glock.
But there's so much. The thing is, there's so many other guns out there that are far superior to Glock.
But I
Isn't
got it for
Glock
a
mostly
steal.
plastic,
If I tell you-
or like it's a
Polymer, yeah, polymer. But the thing is,
Yeah, if I tell you what I paid for the Glock, you're gonna shit your pants right now.
no, what you pay?
200.
No, par for the course. Cool. Good job. Good job.
But it was used, but only had one box of rounds through it. He knew the owner, my gun dealer at the time. Goes, he only had put one. Like, why did he get rid of it? His wife made him get rid of it. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, fair enough.
And it was a 45, by the way.
That's cool. Just don't overspend for a Glock. It is the Honda Civic of firearms.
It is now. When it first
It
came
is.
out,
I mean, Paul, it is. It is the Honda Civic of firearms. The trigger sucks. Okay? The ergonomics suck.
depends what version you're talking about.
Well, yeah, but are they good firearms? Yeah, they're good guns. They are. But that's the one that I'm going to take the range and I'm going to dog it. I'm not going to clean it for 3,000 rounds. Okay, I'm saying I have 3,000 rounds to it and won't clean
I tell
it.
you,
I'll just run that
clean my gun.
until it stops working. I mean, it's a Glock. I can get another one.
bro, I always clean my guns after a day at the range. There's a habit I always had. You know, it's like
I haven't got a clue what you guys are on about. I'm sorry.
I don't either. I don't either, Craig. I guess I'm in a.
soon anyway.
I do have a question though.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't the 2008 Mustang have the same chassis, the older version?
Head out, fellas. I'll see y'all later.
No, you take care.
2008. No, it was two different, similar but different. The bodies are very similar, but they're different in their own ways. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Because I was going to say, because what was it? It was a famous Aston Martin chassis. Yeah, the older one is the same chassis as the Jaguar XKR. If you know what that car is.
Yeah, I think I heard of
Jaguar.
that.
Yeah.
So hang on. So the proper British term is Jaguar, not Jaguar, like the word we say here in the
Jag
US.
for short.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
like people
It's
don't
the same
understand.
chassis.
Don't understand. There's so many different more making miles of cars out there versus what we have here. We don't have the
Yeah.
basics. We have Ford, Chevy,
Yeah.
Mercedes, BMW,
GM.
Jeep, Dodge. That's 6 so far. Did I say Mercedes? Yeah, I did. BMW.
Yeah.
There's only 7 off my head. There are probably a little more than that. I think we have about 10 different makes and models in this country.
Yeah. With this country, there's so many. I've forgotten how many there is. And half of them
But you're
name-
saying, but most people aren't really buying cars. So how are you able to sustain a car industry, or a lot of those cars imported out of the country? Are you a big importer?
British people, and a lot of British people can't afford to run their cars nowadays
Mhm.
because of the taxing system on it all
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all the new regulations. They've literally just brung in a shit ton more
Right.
regulations.
How much is I guess for petrol? You guys buy by the liter or by the gallon there, or the
Later.
and how much?
It's been a long time since I've ever bought fuel.
But you think it's over $1 a liter?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Got you.
I really haven't got a clue. I don't know what it is in pounds over there, but I know.
One thing I will know
$1
for sure, and please correct me, Greg, I'm wrong. In Greece, at least, you cannot put your gas yourself. They have a gas person. Like they do in Jersey, Paul. You can't put your own gas. That's the only state in America that does that. In Greece, they have somebody who sits there. The biggest reason is theft. That's the biggest reason why they do that. Because they only give you the money.
You
Then
can't
you put the gas.
self-serve your own petrol in your own car.
What's up?
You can't self-serve your own petrol in your car.
Not in Greece or in New Jersey.
We do here.
Yeah, if you were driving in New York or Pennsylvania or any other state but New Jersey, I think Jersey's the only one that does it, right, Paul?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot get out. If you get out, you can walk to get a drink or to get out of your car. That's fine, but you cannot touch the hose. It's a fine, isn't it, Paul? If you do that, if they catch you,
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a fine. It's just everyone is and again, sometimes people will do it if the attendant isn't there or whatever, and sometimes if he's busy with other cars, some people will get out and or like the biggest thing is like if the guy you filled up or you hear the click or whatever, and the guy's over working on 3 or 4 other cars. Sometimes you'll just kind of get out and just take the pump out and put it back, and
Scared the shit
and
out
then
of me.
just So it's
No,
not.
no, that did.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear it? Hello, lady.
Hi.
yeah, it's also another reason they do that is for jobs too. It opens the more job market out for a lot of people.
Sure.
So,
And the gas prices in Jersey aren't really because I've been up and down the coast, so it's like I see more expensive gas outside of Jersey. Right now we got $2.59 right now a gallon. Where's it near you?
about the same, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's
I go to
like
BJ's
over in
usually
the
get
US,
gas.
but,
Yeah.
when you self-serve yourself petrol over there or gas, whatever you want to call it, I don't really care. Do you have to pay up front, or can you put the fuel in then pay?
Depend. Usually you pay first because again you're gonna pay with your car, so you put your card in or do it now. Again, in the South, it's like it's different. You fill up first, then you got to go into the store or whatever, and he'll finish your transaction for you. So again, it differs by state here.
Over here, you can.
Okay, I didn't know that
self-serve
because the states I've been to, at least, you pay first, then put gas.
Mhm.
And like
Different over
New
here.
Jersey, Connecticut, what's called Maryland, DC, West Virginia, all those states.
Yeah, that's right. When I was in Florida, because like I said, I would fly in and out of Jacksonville. So it tell you right there, pay or at least go get your receipt. Go inside to complete the transaction, and then to be out. They say what pump you're on, and then they'll give you your receipt, and then you go. So, like I said, it depends on the state.
I didn't know that. I really did. That's a little different. I know that.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna start closing out. Paul, you want to go first? Your final thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, certainly Dukes of Hazzard, Smokey and the Bandit, BJ and the Bear, Sheriff Lobo, Convoy. Again, all those movies of the mid to late 70s. Certainly, they all shared a common theme of having really cool vehicles, whether it be a car or a truck. And that was another thing. 18-wheel trucks was a big thing. We didn't talk about that. Like everybody either had like a Kenworth truck. So again, if you're familiar with the Transformers, like Optimus Prime, that was a Kenworth. So again, Kenworth, or I forget the other. Peterbilt. Peterbilt and Kenworths were also popularized by people in that day. You would come out with toy trucks as well as toy cars. So again, it represented the era of a bit of rebellion against authority that was typically corrupt, and it was always about rooting for those guys to kind of overcome those evil and corrupt institutions. But certainly, like I said, the 77 Firebird Trans Am, black with the Phoenix on it, with the turbocharger. Again, one of the most iconic cars of all time. And certainly for the Dukes of Hazzard, again, the politics notwithstanding, the Charger of that day, certainly a very powerful symbol of the muscle car era, and certainly a very popular car, of that time as well. So again, the muscle car era, there was a lot of movies. In fact, you can just go on and just Google top muscle car films, and a lot of what we're talking about, like I said, and also I can't recommend this enough. Go look up 1968 Bullet, the movie called Bullet, and watch the car chase scene in Bullet. It's probably one of the best car chase scenes in history. Definitely worth watching. Also, the French Connection with Gene Hackman. That was also, they had some major car chases in that one that were, in fact, he was actually chasing a train in that film. That was also a good one. So again, back in there, car chase films was a big, that's where your action was before Star Wars and all those films came out. That's where the excitement was in those car chase scenes and the way they ran them. Like I said, Mad Max, again, big time car chase scenes in that one as well. And so, yeah, it represented a very special time. Certainly from my era, that a lot of kids grew up on, and like I said, that Firebird was, the ultimate car, certainly back then. So that's all I got.
Greg, you're on mute, bud.
Oh, sorry. No, I ain't got nothing because I never saw any of those shows. Sorry.
The mute button got on me too today. No, don't worry about it. But I want to mention two cars. Remember, this is more your era. The Road Runner.
The what?
The Road Runner.
No, except the cartoon character, but not
They
the.
made a car out of it. The hell you give me, Greg, here. Okay. So, and the Daytona, look them up, Paul, later. They're actually a gorgeous car, but the difference about those is the wing was over dramatic when they first came out of those cars.
Wow.
You're going to see what I'm talking about. You say, you're going to see what they're a really nice car. All right. So, I haven't seen, Smoking a Bandit. I'm gonna make a part of my life mission now to watch that at some point and see what's.
Yeah, I must say, really, the first film is really all you need.
Yeah, but as Dukes of Hazzard, I like the movie. I'll be honest, I like the show too. But I think I thought the movie would be a sequel, but it didn't do that well, unfortunately. I love the cars. I'll be honest, in those movies, I think they're great cars. But let's do a quick schedule update. Tomorrow we are having a gray area. I don't have the list in front of me again. Do you have it?
Yeah, so we're dealing with gender, certainly gender roles and marriage. So that's going to be the main theme for tomorrow. Again, provided we have power. So again, the storm coming. Hopefully, I have power tomorrow night. I got my phones. I got my chargers charging up now. As a matter of fact, like I said, I got my snow thrower ready, and we'll just see. But hopefully, we'll be able to have the power to present it to you. A lot of people across the country, that's a major concern. So hopefully, as long as we can have power, yeah, we'll do a show. Because I'm not
I'm
going to work on Monday.
My heat is electric here, so I'm gonna be screwed one way or the other if I lose power.
Yeah.
But my area never really loses power. I don't know about you guys over there. Do you guys ever?
I mean, we've had some outages. I mean, certainly here, but especially like I said, storms. So we've had tornadoes come through here and whatnot. So on occasion we've lost, but I can't remember ever in a snowstorm.
I only lost for like an hour or two, mostly the most I ever lost. So about you, Greg? You guys ever lose power down there?
Huh?
You guys lose power often down in UK?
We are not that often, very rare, but we have been having a lot of internet problems. Our country has.
No, that's a whole different story too. So after that, we are talking about on Tuesday. You're not good enough. Breaking the cycle. And Sean will be going over family and generous cause. Good luck with that one. Paul, are you I know I might have this script this week.
Yeah, we're going to be starting a series on insurance. So again, life insurance, health insurance, auto insurance, and car buying. So that'll be the next. What's that?
Didn't you do all that before?
Insurance? No. We did do, I think, death and burial insurance. I think when we were talking about that thing on for parents when they die, make sure you have that. But
yeah, we did 2 shows on it. You guys did one, and the Gray Area did one too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move some things around because I have it on a wrong date by accident. That's my fault. And next week and this is something you probably remember. This is your era too, Paul. And we are having talking with Spartan on Friday. That's going to be our new show on Fridays at 9:30. Anybody's welcome to join that show. If you are a wrestling fan, you're more than welcome to join. Now, on next Saturday, we are talking about. Ready for this, Paul? I need. All right, that's the best drum roll I have. All right, is Doomslayer versus Metroid Sam.
That might be a date night for me. I have no idea what you just said.
This is your era, bro. This is you played Doom. Tell me.
You said Doomslayer.
Yeah, Doom. That's from Doom. Doomslayer is the character's name.
Oh, okay. Versus what?
Metroid.
Never played Metroid, but
you played Doom. You told me you didn't play Doom.
Yeah, I played Doom, sure, but
right.
Like I said, even some of the characters I don't recognize. But all right.
So you're always trying to get off the show. It's like, I'm gonna walk away. You're the vice
If I don't know, I don't know. I'm like Craig. I don't want Craig would be like, sorry, never saw it. That's it. So what am I gonna
we decided to change the name from Knight Rider to
I know, yeah. That was definitely
I just stayed quiet because literally I've never seen
I hear you. Nope.
Or Smoking Bandit.
That was my fuck up, like I said earlier. Like I should have talked to Paul on that show before because I didn't, and that is completely my fault. I'm usually pretty good communication with Paul. That is completely on me, so I'll take the loss for that. Same.
Yeah, I was only here to defend Knight Rider, but
yeah. So anyway, guys, let's get out of here. Except that, Paul, last words really fast, or that's it?
I'm good.
Greg, anything you want to say on your numbnut side? All right, guys. As always, this was the Spartan SU Network. I am the Spartan. He is the president. He is Mr. Numbnuts. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.